What you gonna do tonight, Doug?
I am sorry to hear you guys are getting snow and whatnot. We had 82 degrees and sunshine here in Kentucky all day.
It's coming, Doug. It's coming.
No, you keep
Yeah,
it.
it's supposed to get cold
We're
here.
sending
again.
it, brother.
Yeah.
No.
3 pieces of wood here. Started out with 3 pieces anyway. And if you start with the center piece, this is where your layout is going to go. What we're going to do is a rattle, a 2-ended rattle. Very simple to do, really. But I've got a 1-inch hole in each end, and that happens to be walnut. Then I've got some maple to go out on the outside. I've already gone ahead and glued that piece on so you can see. And then what I would do would be drop whatever. I think I watched Joaquin's video, and he used some wood beads that he had turned. I've seen people use dried beans. I've been using some BBs. I've got a supply of BBs laying around. Drop those in. And what I found with the last one I did, if I put in 10 in each of the 2 holes, that's plenty, especially if I get this thinned down enough. So what I would do is put the BBs in there, carefully glue all around both of the holes and all of this center. Put that on there, weight it down, let it sit at least overnight, let that wood glue dry real good. Doesn't really matter what kind of glue, whether it's tight bond. I'm trying to look across there to see what I've got. Some of the original tight bonds, what I'm using right now. I have used the Gorilla wood glue, same kind of stuff. I have used, pull this over here and show it to you. I've used that and it never seems to have a problem. So that's why it's sitting so within arm's reach. I have gone ahead and glued this one completely up. In fact, you can hear it rattle. And these are my original layout marks. You probably you cannot see those. Let me see if I can get them up here. Well, on the walnut, you can't really see them on the walnut too good. You can see the middle one or that one. Yeah, you can see that one. But I've got all my layout marks on all 3 pieces. And on this particular one, I've gone ahead and used a square and run them all the way around so that I can see what I've got. All right. And can you hear that okay?
Yes.
They do rattle. It will rattle better as I get it down the side. Now, I've already put this on the lathe one time just to give myself some marks. I'm kind of taking my time getting my marks, getting my centers back in. I'm going to do this completely between centers. I marked it on this end. This is a 1/2 inch of waste wood that, I had thought I would put it in a chuck, but I'm just going to do it completely between centers. Whether you do it between centers or in a chuck, it really doesn't matter. It's whatever you prefer. I really don't care as long as it's in there solid and I don't have to worry. That's even louder to me when it's on the lathe. It's getting some reverberation through the metal there. So there we go. Safety first. We've already been talking about safety. No rings, no watches, no bracelets, nothing like that. I do have my face mask right here. I'm going to blow it off, get it good and not good and clean, but as clean as I'm going to get it. About every other week or so, I take it upstairs to the kitchen and get the glass cleaner out and do some good work on it. So what these marks here are for, those mark the top and the bottom of this upper circle. These 2 marks do the lower circle, and in between is all my handle area. So I've got some waste wood here, some waste wood here, a good bit of waste wood in the middle. So we're just going to work on that. I'm going to start off with my, well, what I do with it. Somewhere here, there it is. I got a brand new 1/2 inch. Some of y'all were concerned about my 3/4 inch. It's not really 3/4. I decided it was a 5/8. This is a 1/2 inch spindle gouge with my Mark Soleil type of grind. We're going to start with the lathe turn down slow. We'll spin it up to speed and get started on this just a little bit here. There we go. That's kind of fun to hear that rattle, and then as you turn the speed up, it just stops. That's about 1200 right there. And I can see my line right here real well. I'm going to start there, just getting rid of some of this waste wood.
Look at those pretty curly cues there.
Go down to the other end, do the same kind of thing. Move my tool rest down just a little bit. I'm getting too close to that edge. All right. Got the two ends pretty well established. This end could be a little more square, but we'll take care of that here in a minute. I'm going to kind of start on this at the bottom of this ball, and then I'm going to come back and go this way. So work toward the center on both of these ends. All right, so you can see we're making pretty good progress here. Still not totally round, even up here. Getting there. I've got a little small area where we're all the way around. That's so we're going, but we're going a little much smaller. Remember, these are for small children. Chances are this particular one is not really big enough. It ought to be a little bit wider in this direction. This way is fine. It's plenty big that way, but it's really a little bit small there. So this is about where we're going to end up all the way up and down. We could go ahead. I don't quite want all of this maple to disappear. It's really really not big enough. But we're going to make one. It may be a little oval, but that'll be okay for this purpose. You'll get the gist of the idea here. Let's continue on. Let's make these round a little bit.
I noticed you switch hands as you switch from one end to the next, just observing it so other people notice it too.
I'm sorry, what?
I just noticed you're switching hands between left and right-handed turning, and I'm just
Yes.
bringing it up that other people notice it.
Yes. I was told as I was getting started, took some group lessons and stuff, and one of the guys said, you know, I am totally right-handed, but when it comes to lathe work, I go from both directions. And the reason is sometimes if I wanted to be totally right-handed, it would be tough to get in some places from over here. I can't back up any further than I am going toward the headstock, so, but if I turn around, hold it with my left hand, and I'm working, my pressure hand is my right hand, I've got all the room in the world. I can go all the way over without any problem. So thank you. That's a good point, Trace. In fact, I've got a hole right there where my wood was not real. Okay. I'm not going to worry about that end. I'm going to do this upper end. What I will probably do, I'll go down a little smaller here and in the handle, and I'll sand this and make it real nice and smooth. It won't be a ball per se, but it'll be soft and nice edges. Give it just a little bit more speed. Trying to make sure I keep that bevel going so that it's a good slicing cut. Definitely not square or not round. Well, there went half of it. Yep, there go my BBs. But anyway, you see the point. In fact, I can go ahead. Let me go ahead and turn just a little more of this handle.
Where did you go up there?
We do.
The BBs are getting a lot of mileage.
The ones in this end are.
No, the ones that came out, everybody's having fun at your expense on them.
The ones that came out, if I happen to find them, I'll use them in another one.
Hey, Doug, that piece that came flying out is right directly underneath your lathe if you want to glue back in.
Yeah, it's there. And I probably will not, because it's not a good piece of wood. The maple was fine. It's the walnut. The walnut that was bad. It was not. I did not plane it or anything. I just stuck it on the sander, and the glue is there. It did its job, but I got a void right there, and it shot out, just like I've got a void here. If I'd have kept going here, this piece would come off too. There's a void there, in fact. But anyway, but you get the idea, and you make the handle. You make sure you make the handle small. If it feels good to you, it's probably too big. But design in there is okay. It's this little bead in the middle, couple of little coves there. Those are all fine. Little children don't care. Mamas and daddies care more than the babies do. But they will take those. I gave one to my brand new niece. Brand new. She's a year old. First time I got to see her was in January. And lo and behold, when they opened that up for her, she took to it immediately, began shaking it immediately, like she knew exactly what it was for. And then here about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, he sent me a text and says, "What was the finish on that?" I had finished it with my abrasive paste and wax is all I put on it, because I knew it would go in the child's mouth. So he sends me a text, says, "What's it finished with?" And I tell him it's nothing but wax. He says, "Okay." She kind of chewed on it a little bit. Sent me a picture, and it looked like the dog had been chewing on it. She had gnawed that thing to pieces, but it was all in the two balls, and he was just going to put some wax on it and just kind of refurbish it just a little bit. Let her chew on it.
Sign of a hungry baby.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of what I said.
Tell
Poor
him to
child
feed
needs
her
some
more.
care. Yeah. But
Doug,
anyway,
did
that's
you use CA or were you using wood glue with that?
wood glue. Wood
Wow.
glue. But like here's a crack right here coming through it. This was the jankiest piece of wood that I had of the walnut. It was a long stick I had, and I cut it into three 7-inch pieces. The worst of it got tossed, but there was still some of that cracking even in this one. And I knew when I glued it up that was going to be an issue, and it was. It was. It's not the glue's fault. It's my allowing that piece of wood to be used. Well, in fact, the maple had some paint on it. So
That would do it too.
What's the size on that then?
I'm sorry, Brenda, what was that?
What was the size?
The maple was 3/4 inch, about 1.5 inches wide. It was about 1.5 inches wide this way. It really needs to be closer to 2 inches. And then your outside pieces can be a little thinner, but I like to give myself plenty for when I'm turning. If this had been 2 inches wide here, I could have got a nice round ball, then 2 inches by 2 inches round ball with a nice handle in there. But you need to be kind of careful about where you're marking your layout lines. This one, that's part of my problem. That layout line's actually above the bottom of that hole. That layout line needed to be down here. That may be why I did that. This one, the layout line is here, and it really should have been a little higher. This one got shifted down, it looks like, just a little bit. And that's my fault not paying attention to where I was putting those lines. But you see the idea here. Just use a decent piece of wood. It doesn't have to be walnut and maple. You could do it 3 pieces of pine. I was looking over here from time to time in my iPad that I'm using as a monitor, and there was some strobing going on. If you've got trouble with that, any kind of epilepsy or anything like that, you may want to use 3 pieces of the same kind of wood or a very similar color wood anyway. Instead of the contrasting like that, the walnut and the maple highly contrasting and cause some strobing. So I could see that causing some folks some problems.
Would it be good to put a layout line dead center of that circle? Because the other ones look like you're cutting them away. If one was dead center, you know where it is.
Oh, like on this flatter side?
Yep, and put it dead center of your circle that you cut.
Oh, you mean like this?
Yes, and then that line would stay there until the final product, because that line, you should always leave that line, have that line, it would be at the very top of your cut.
Pretty much, but see that, as thin as that is now, that started out as 3/4.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, your
So-
other layout lines look like you cut them away as you start working.
Absolutely, you do. And
And if you have one dead center, you don't cut that one away.
That's your widest point of your ball,
Yeah.
Right.
and you would know that that's dead center, so half and half.
Right,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would,
yeah.
it would stay there. You would never lose your mark is what I'm saying. If you-
right. Mark it on
It
the
looks
right
like you're
side.
cutting them away where you have them marked.
Yeah, well, actually I did have a line there, but of course I glued over it. I glued a piece of wood over it, so I couldn't see it. But yes, having that here so that it could have been transferred out here, yes, that would have helped. Yes, exactly. Yep, anything you can do. But still, this was a sorry piece of wood. And like I said, I think I shifted my line just a tiny bit. There that line is. And that's where that should have been. You know, if I'd have gone all the way up to that line, I'd have been up in here on the maple. I'd have been a 1/4 inch into the maple. So I shifted somehow. I wasn't as careful as I thought I was. Only in a demo, right?
Yeah,
Oh, and,
Murphy loves demos.
Yeah, exactly.
front row
um,
seat every time.
Here's
Yeah.
here's the other one that is completely glued. And I'm sure I'm a little better with it. But again, you know, I did my layouts on my maple, on my walnut, and then transferred to the outside on my maple. And as long as I don't mess up, that may be what I did. I may have gotten this flipped. That's very, very possible.
What's your dimensions on that block? Looks very
Oh, this
rectangular.
This current block, it is. This is 2.5 by 1 3/8 is what that is.
So,
Um,
so you're gonna so for a perfect ball, you're gonna wind up with something like if you get a perfect one, 1 5/16. Where's that gonna leave your
Yeah.
maple?
yeah,
See what I'm saying?
Hey,
right.
Doug,
You'd barely touch the maple.
Right,
uh,
right.
hey,
On the
Doug,
edge, yeah, or barely touch the walnut. Yes, sir.
would you be interested in looking at a story stick? So that when you have a stick for your layout marks, that would be on the stick so that you can make sure that each one of the lines are in the right place.
Oh, absolutely. If I was turning any more than 1 or 2 at a time, that's exactly what I would do. The story stick that just takes all the guesswork out of it. Absolutely. Yep. Great idea.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank
Doug,
you.
when you start looking for those BBs, you're not gonna find them all because one of them hit Eddie in the nose. Yeah, so he's gonna need nose surgery.
I'm looking around. I don't see a single one of them. I know they're all right here under my feet, but it's yeah, not a big deal. Not a big deal.
And
They're
that
from my son
smock,
bought. I didn't pay for them.
that
I hope
smock
you're not
you're
gonna
wearing,
put any effort into finding them.
Magnet.
Yeah, magnet would do it. These are not copper
Dustpan
BBs.
and a
so-
broom and out in the garbage.
Yeah, absolutely.
is that
Brenda,
a
what'd
new
you start
smock?
to say about smock?
Is that a new smock?
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah.
My
it's the
open
chef's-
tip smock. And our friend to the north has one identical, except his is a little smaller than mine.
Is that one of them cooking chef?
Yes. Got it from
Tell-
Open Tip. Started to get it from the same company you did. But they were about a little more than double the price.
Really?
Yep. I got this one from Open Tip. It was cheap
Okay.
off their clearance
The-
rack.
The plain white ones were too. Mine was only $3 and something, I think.
Oh, really?
I got 2, Brenda, and they were $5 a piece.
Yeah.
And that's a 5X.
There you go. Kate and I were looking for this black with the red piping, and from what was it? Heart or something. They were a whole lot more than Open Tip. So anyway, that's that.
Yeah. Well, it looks nice.
And it works good. It does collect some dust, but I think it'll blow off.
Yeah. Just turn it upside down and it'll come out of the pocket and the sleeves too.
Okay, I'm going to blow my air just for half a second.
You're not supposed to.
Now, that's a lot better. You can still see. No, you
What
can't.
I do is I use the air gun on mine to blow it off.
Yeah, there's still a little dust on, but the 90% of it came off with that little blast of air.
You should not use an air hose on yourself. Take your shirt off and then blow it off. It's not
No. How do I get it out of my hair then?
Shave your head.
shower.
It's not Saturday night yet, Brenda.
He is in Kentucky.
That's right. This blank will do much better because it does not have the wide seams that the other one had, but it's still got a place or two that I'm going to be careful with. I may even wick in some CA along that one seam just to be sure. Like I said, I should have run these through a planer and that would have taken care of it, but I did not. I just very haphazardly cut them, threw them together, thought it would be okay. It's not.
Would,
It does
would
need
a
to be-
2-inch, would a 2-inch square be better, or should it be oblong like that?
No. A square would be better.
Okay,
Well, but that's just the width that this walnut was. I didn't cut the width
Gotcha.
of it at all. I did cut the maple down to make, come closer to the walnut, but I did not cut the walnut at all other than the length of it.
okay. Yeah,
But
you
yes.
did say you was using some scrap pieces or extra pieces.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Exactly. And had I just paid a little more attention to what I was doing, I would have made this wider so that it would have been maybe not quite this thick, but definitely thicker than this.
I got the idea of it. I may just have to make one this week.
Absolutely. They're not hard. It's an easy little project. It just takes a little bit of forethought, thinking through what you're doing. And, this is once this is turned, this is a fairly nice piece of maple. You can try to see if y'all can see that. There's some curl in it right there. So that would have been real pretty if I'd have used that piece.
What-
This one doesn't have that curl.
Is that a 1-inch hole you drilled through it?
Yes, I drilled a 1-inch hole, used a 1-inch Fosner bit.
Okay.
So there you see it even better there. And that'll hold some, if you use like black eyed peas or some navy beans or some kind of small dried bean, it'll hold a good bit. I just chose BBs because my son bought them and they were sitting in his room. I just grabbed them.
Double lot buckshot.
There you go. That would work too. I don't have any, but yeah, that would work.
That's more expensive than BBs these days.
Right?
Probably.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Double, that's probably on back order.
Yep.
That I will take, if I go ahead and glue this up and try to do one, I'm going to take it to the sander at least. I've got a 10 or 12 inch disc sander over there and flatten it. It's not quite flat there. And that may have been part of the problem here. It wasn't quite flat.
Hey,
Throw
hey
it on your
Doug,
shooting board.
hey Doug,
Yeah.
it seems to me it's like you haven't given yourself enough room in the walnut on the sides to get those round. I don't know. I think I'd want more wood.
That's
It would
what
be
we were
helpful,
discussing
but-
earlier.
But I've got a little better than an 1/8 there.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean,
You know,
it
it-
seems to me I'd be more comfortable with a little more wood there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You could without any problem. In fact, like we were just saying, it would be better if in this direction, the walnut was closer to 2 inches. That's what,
Right.
1 inch and an 1/8 there. If it was at least 1.5 inches, it would be easier to make all of this. But I've got whatever that is, 3/16.
2 lines past the 2.
Doug, Ward Wilson said popcorn works too. That's a good idea.
Yeah, unpopped popcorn. Yeah, it's good and hard. Yeah, that's a great idea, Ward.
And it's cheap.
Yeah. Yeah.
What concern do you have though of this breaking apart and the child choking on whatever it is you got inside?
Well, if your surfaces, let me get this one to show you. If your glued up, your mating surfaces, if they're good and flat and you
Yeah.
get a good joint there, I don't have any problem with it.
Okay.
That's my only issue with sanding is that you
Or the
you
child
sometimes
chewing through
close
it?
off some. Nah. They can chew pretty hard. They'll dent it, but they won't typically chew through it. My niece has not chewed through hers, and hers was made with. I used a dark, some kind of an Australian burl. I don't remember. I didn't know what it was when I used it, but it was hard. and then used, it's on the YouTube video. I don't remember what it was now. Some kind of white or light colored wood to go in contrast to that dark burl that I use. But she's no respecter of burls. She chewed that burl up.
Okay.
If it had been most of us, we'd have been cringing. But her parents, my niece and nephew-in-law, and my sister and brother-in-law, none of the four of them were a bit concerned. So as long as they're not concerned, I'm not concerned.
Okay.
But you get the idea. This is, like I said, it's a good project. It's an easy project. The hardest part is deciding what to do with that handle section. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It can be just a nice long bead there. It works very well. Or it could just be a dowel. You know, it may be as straight as it can be. Whatever your imagination allows you to do, go for it. Go for it.
I'm also liking the ideas in the chat. They're suggesting making maracas.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, do them pretty
Yeah.
good size. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Those are typically
4x4?
done with traditionally done with gourd, but it could be done with wood. The one thing you'll want to remember is that with wood, you will hear when it's right. You know, if I had gotten this nice and round and stopped with it this thick across here, it would not have sounded right. It needed to be more like it is down here at the bottom, as thin as that is, to really sound right. It begins to ring when it's got enough thinness to it.
Hmm.
And there's no way to know without stopping. You stop, you loosen your tailstock and give it a rattle. That's dead sounding. You get it a little thinner, and it will actually ring. Good night. Yeah, that thing's trying to come apart. I'm through on both sides. That one was never going to work at all. That's because my layout lines were wrong, and I've got way too much here. I should not have had that much there. So I've got them backwards somehow. But I know I'm right on this one here. I know I'm right on that one. I double and triple checked it. This one is not glued up yet, so I've got all the time in the world to fix it. And it's right as of now. So, okay.
Great.
There
Great
we go.
idea.
Great demo, Doug.
Sand them up
Yep.
nice and smooth. I would suggest going to at least 320. Some of you all like to go to 1,000 by habit anyway, and that works. Get you a nice finish without going to the chemical kind of finishes. Wax will work fantastically. Most of your waxes are food safe, which means a child sticking in their mouth is not going to keel over. And that's what we're after. We want them to have a good time and enjoy the things we give them. So that's kind of the point.
Thanks, Doug.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It was a good demo, Doug.
Thanks,
Thank
Doug.
you very
That was good.
Thank
Great
you all.
idea.